edition of the Superintendent's Corners. We're talking bonds and sinking funds. Let's start off talking about bonds this time, and let's talk about the two items on the bonds, and let's go in depth on each one of them, please.
Sure. Yep, so our bond, we're asking for $1 million for 8 years, which is a short term for a bond proposal. With the bond proposal, one of our asks is for the district to approve to purchase 10 buses. Our bus fleet is aging, it is getting older. Our average age of our buses are 11.8 years when you factor in all the buses that we have and average it in. The oldest bus we have on the road right now is we kind of call it a spare, but it runs to Little Blessings and back every day for latchkey programs for our kids. And that bus is a 2004. So it is an older bus. We have a bus that's a 2008. We have some 2010s. An interesting thing about busing is it's not always the engines that go first. Just like our cars here in Michigan, it's the body. The body starts to go on them, and then the state police will flag them and tell us that we can't use them. So in 2010, when the recession hit and schools were taking large cuts, everybody was taking cuts. The school district kind of got off the rotation of purchasing buses to keep that money in the classrooms and to keep that money away from students. That was an easy thing for school districts to do, is to stop purchasing the buses. But it's kind of caught up to us when we need to get back on the rotation. So with the purchasing of 10 buses over 4 years, it would be the goal of the district then to purchase 1 bus a year to get us back on that cycle out of the general fund.
When's the last time we bought a new bus?
We bought a new bus last year,
Okay.
2022, and then the time before that it was a 2019.
Okay.
So our 2019, hard to believe, but it's already 4 years old.
Yeah.
So it can catch up to us. So that's what we're asking the voters to do, is to approve the bond, so that we're able to get caught back up on our bus fleet, because transportation, it's a privilege. It's not a right. School districts don't have to provide transportation. We want to provide transportation for our kids.
So, not to come off as crass, but
Mm-hmm.
it seems like the purchasing of the bus is a can that's been kicked down the road, and it's now at a dead end, and we have to make some hard choices, and we want to continue to provide the services that we provide right now,
Correct.
and keep the kids as safe as possible, because, like you said, child safety is our number one priority in these buses, and as they get older, they go more rigorous standards for a bus, because of public transportation than our personal car. You can drive a car for 25, 30 years, but a bus is different.
Bus is different, and they have to be inspected by the state police every year. They come out and inspect our buses, and they'll give them a red, yellow, or green tag. And if you get a red tag, that bus is not to be on the road. Yellow tags, you have some things to fix before that bus can get on the road, and then the green tags for that.
All right, so that's number one item on the bond. The
Correct.
second item is?
Second item is the track. Our track and field there is in bad repair as well. It's cracking. It needs to be dug up down to the base in order to eliminate the cracks. Before we can't just resurface. I would love to be able just to resurface. It'd be an good economical solution, but we're going to have the same problem 3 to 5 years down the road. Because of the cracks, it's the basing. We had 2 companies come out and look at it. One was our construction manager who said that we needed to do that, and I kind of questioned him and asked the track company who was working on Cadillac School's track to come on out. And I believe they were the company that did our track initially. And they said the same thing, is it's got to go down to the base, got to kind of start over to eliminate that cracking.
Now, there was a little confusion about the use of the track for this season.
Yep.
Can you clarify on that, please?
Yes, so we can host some meets. Not all meets. We can't host a district meet. We can't host a regional. We can't host the all-conference meet. Teams just won't come here to run. We can host individual meets. If the schools are willing to come and run, we have to disclose the condition of our track for that as well. But Northern Michigan Christian Schools also uses our track, because that is a community track.
Yep.
When that was built specifically that the community and both schools could use that track. And so NMC also uses that track, and we'll sometimes have track meets on there. It's more feasible for a middle school track meet than a high school track meet, just because of the level of performance.
So
We are limited on what we can host.
I'm going to connect some dots here. Tell me if I'm correct on this.
Mm-hmm.
Voting for the bond affects both schools, since Northern Michigan Christian School uses the track, so that's a community track, as well as the busing service for all in-district students will also be going to that. We run that busing for their school and ours. So the new buses benefits both schools.
Correct. We do bus, and then Northern Michigan Christian students as well, if they live within the district.
Okay, so we're now talking about the bond benefits both schools.
Yes.
Wow, that's very interesting. Well, this is a wrap up on the bond. I think we're going to stick with just the bond, and we'll do another show that will be just as sick and fun, and then we can try and keep the issues clear for
Sure.
people and not muddle too much into it. So,
Absolutely.
the bond, the vote is coming up. Got me a date?
May 2nd,
May 2nd. What's the last day you can register for that?
the day of the election.
Day of the election. You can do absentee ballots for this?
Absentee ballots will be available by Thursday, March 23rd. I think they're already available, but by law they have to be available by March 23rd. And my understanding is you can turn in the absentee ballot up to 8 p.m. on the day of the election.
So, where do people get the absentee ballots or go to register?
I would contact your township clerk or county clerk.
All right.
So much of the absentee ballots have changed with COVID and election laws, and it's just better to contact them and get the correct information. I'd hate to steer somebody in the wrong direction.
All right, so votes coming up. That was the issues on the bond, the track, the buses. Please make sure you ask any questions. Be happy to answer them. If you want to go ahead and email the Rambler Review at mcbain.org, or you can go ahead and just contact the high school or superintendent's office, and they'll be happy to help you out.
Absolutely.
You got a joke for us?
Let's see. Did you know 5/4 of people struggle at fractions?
On that note, this has been the Rambler Review. I'm Gary Vanna.
Scott Aiken.
Feel the wheel.